Tardes novamente. Well, now I'm here with Dr. Reynaldo Arosemena and Julio. I'm not sure whether I should call Doctor or Mr. Julio or what.
Whatever you want.
We've just met. So I had been talking with Reynaldo for a while. We are still here living Casco Antiguo, and of course, I saw him on Instagram, as most people, when I was coming to Panama. You are aware of this now. My idea was my family is coming here on vacation on December 24th through 28th. So I was like, hey, I'm a YouTuber, so I might as well arrive 2 weeks earlier and record a bit. However, I'm not a travel YouTuber, I'm a medical YouTuber. So I was like, well, I guess I'm going to write to some hostels and clinics in Panama and try to show a bit of healthcare in Panama and how is medical life and how is patient care and it all in Panama. So I reached out to some people, and Dr. Reynaldo here was really interesting because if I tell you, for example, I'm going to visit a renowned dermatologist with a network of clinics, would you expect to meet him, for example, in a suit or something like this? Because the first time I went on his Instagram page, he had pictures surfing.
That's the way.
And things like this. And I said before that this city reminds me a lot of a safer Rio de Janeiro. I spent 6 years living in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. I went to med school there, and that's such a Rio de Janeiro thing to do. To like go to a meeting in the afternoon and be surfing in the morning. So I pretty much messaged him and said, well, you sound like a fun person and I would love to meet you. And by the way, I love to see your clinics and talk about it, but if you also want to join me on the other part of the trip to go do something, go to the beach, whatever, I'm absolutely open to it. And he said yes, and he offered to pick me up here today. So thank you very much for your kindness and your offer. I'd love to get to see both your clinics and Panama with you.
Claro que sí. You're very welcome.
Do you want to say anything else? Do you want to present yourself or anything?
Well, I'm a dermatologist. I do work in private and public clinics. In the mornings I go to the public office, and in the afternoon I go to my private practice. That's every day of the week.
You are the director of the dermatology service at the public hospital, are you not?
Yes, I am the head of the service in the Hospital Santo Tomás Memorial. It's one of the oldest hospital in Panama, and it's for people without insurance. It is the most important hospital in the country for people who does not have insurance.
Here in Panama, do most people have insurance?
Not most. I think it's half and a half.
Yes, because in Brazil it's like, let's say 20%, 25% have insurance and the rest is public. And I get a bit of a distorted view of it because I'm here and I'll be visiting mostly clinics and hospitals geared towards foreigners, which there's a reason to that. It's mostly because it's the people that can speak English and that thus can more easily talk with me. But I do recognize that for a large part of Panamanians, it's a bit different. How about you, Mr. Julio? Do you want to present yourself? Do you want to say something?
Okay, I'm a chemical engineer. I work at the fuel terminal called Bopac in Panama. Originally, it was the refinery of the country, which used to be managed by Texaco in the 1960s until 2002. Then we changed to operations with a joint venture with Bopac, and then I'm working there as an automation project manager, and I have been at that facility for 35 years already.
An automation project manager, is the port here in Panama kind of like those we see, I don't know, in Singapore or in Hong Kong, which have all the containers moving by themselves, or do you still have dock workers here?
We do have, in my facility, we only handle hydrocarbons.
Sure.
So in the facilities where they have containers, they are little by little moving towards the automation, fully automated systems where the containers are moved just by robots. Some of them are just getting in the early days of that level of automation.
Great. Dr. Reynaldo, when I was coming here with my Uber driver, we came through a street, a calle called, I think it was Pablo Arosemena, and I even asked him, do you know who this guy was? Because I meet him with another Arosemena later today. ¿Sabes quién es Arosemena?
¿Quién era Arosemena?
Sí, de la avenida, porque yo conozco una Arosemena aquí en Panamá, entonces yo miro la avenida Arosemena, ¿sabes quién es?
Ese que conoce que es Arosemena debe ser familia del que le pusieron el nombre de la calle.
Mas usted no sabe quién fue Pablo Arosemena.
Pablo Arosemena creo que fue uno de los...
Gira a la izquierda en Avenida Pablo Arosemena, luego gira a la izquierda en Avenida Eloy Alfaro.
No, la verdad que no sé. No sé qué fue. Sí.
Bien, gracias. and he thought about it a bit and said, no, I don't. And yet there at the plaza back there, Plaza de Francia, where you picked me up, I saw that there was a statue like in many other, and it was written there, Pablo Arosemena, and then I picked it up and looked on my phone, and it was like second president of Panama, I think, which you said is your great-great-grandfather, I think.
Yeah. There was only one family, Arosemena, here that came from Spain in 1742, I think that's the date. And since that, we have been here in Panama. There is many brands of Arosemena all over the country. Some of them stay in the city, some of them went to another towns in the country.
That's really interesting when that happens because, for example, I'm not sure, I think here in Panama it must be something similar. I have two family names, one from my mother and one from my father. Mm-hmm. I mean, like in Anglo countries like the United States and United Kingdom, they usually only have one from their father. So I'm Ricardo Betanho Martins. Betanho is from my mother, Martins is from my father. Martins is a patronymic surname, which means there are multiple origins to it, so it's harder to trace.
Oh yeah?
Betanho is like Arosemena. It's interesting when that happens because if I find another Betanho, I know he is or she is related to me. And apparently the same with you here in Arosemena. If I find another Arosemena here, yeah. Any street name...
But here is different. We place the first last name, Arosemena, is from my father. And my second last name is from my mother.
But you still only pass the father's name to your children?
Both. Father and mother.
But like your children, they have both?
Mine and my wife.
Oh, sure. It's the same in Brazil, it just changes the order.
The first last name change.
And so we've just left Casco Viejo, the second city of Panama, if I'm not mistaken. The first one was Panama Viejo,
yes,
destroyed by Harry Morgan. I did study the history of that city before coming. I wouldn't, come on, I came here to film. I wouldn't show up without any knowledge of the place. And so here I think it's Chorrillo.
We are here in La Central. This used to be the heart of the city many years ago. When the Americans were here, this was the main populated area.
So the move to the newer parts that are like Obario and the Puntas, and it was...
The city was growing that way, yes.
It was like in the last 80 years, something like that. Because here we are somewhat close to the American administration of the canal.
Yes.
Yes,
which is Ancón Hill, for example. I think Ancón Hill is close here.
Yeah.
very close. You can see.
Cerro de Ancón
Cerro
is.
Ancón.
Cerro Ancón.
Yes, that's it. Where are we going now?
Well, I'm gonna take you to the El Causeway. It's a place. Used to be a Fort Amador by the Americans. Now we call it the Causeway or Amador. You will see the canal on one side and the city of Panama on the other side. You will like it. It's a nice place. You can film it. You're gonna enjoy it.
And it was built with the earthworks from the Panama Canal.
Uh-huh.
There are 3 islands there in the. Which are,
There's where we're going.
they are no longer islands. Now it's a peninsula.
Yeah.
Right.
No, they are road.
Well, I don't know about the technical definitions of it. Maybe we should consult with a geologist, because now they are connected. This is Cerro Ancón Hill. Well, if I'm not mistaken, the hill is a symbol of Panama because it used to be under the American administration. It's no
Yes.
longer that.
Yes.
But that's the whole point about it, that it changed to Panama.
Yes, actually they put a flag upstairs when they change it. Now it's not blowing, but
No,
you see
yes,
it?
I can see it. I can see it. Definitely.
That's another nice ride. You can walk up there.
So, have you been here your entire life? In Panama, in Panama. Yeah, were you born here?
I was born. Yes, exactly. I was born here. Yeah, born and raised here.
And you did your entire medical career here?
No, actually I did medicine, the career here in the city. I mean in Panama City exactly. And then I went for training to Venezuela.
Interesting.
To Caracas, Venezuela. I spent there 3 years. After that, I went to the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, stayed there 3 months, and then to Guadalajara, Mexico, 1.5 years. I was doing oncology, dermatology, oncology over there, and then went to San Salvador for some cosmetic surgery, like six more months, and then I came here. From there, I've been working non-stop.
How long ago was that?
92.
92.
Yeah.
I hadn't been born yet. But at least it's easy to to calculate it. 33 years. It's been 33 years. Correct me if I'm mistaken, this is like the impression I get here in Panama. Panama is kind of, don't feel offended by this positioning, it's kind of a city-state, because of course it's larger than the Netherlands, for example. It's twice as large, but there is one major city that counts at least like half the population. And so I get the impression that a lot of Panamanian doctors go to other countries for medicine, for residency, precisely because the country is kind of small. There isn't that much volume, perhaps, because for instance, I wanted to pursue a residency in general surgery in the United States. Eventually, I gave up to kind of become an influencer, but that's a longer story. But in Brazil, I was kind of the exception. It's not that common for medical doctors to leave Brazil. And here I see that many of the top doctors in many specialties usually have some degree of training either in Spanish-speaking countries such as Venezuela, Spain, Mexico, Colombia, or in the United States, for example. Is that kind of how it works? Is my impression right about it?
Yeah, that's it exactly. That's the way it is. It's the most common. As for example, dermatology, we train 2 residents per year, 1 local, national, and 1 from outside of Panama. Foreign, yeah, outside from Panama. Okay, we have only 6 residents in my Santo Tomas. So can you imagine, for the whole country, it's so little. So most of the people who can afford to study in other country, they go away.
But there are only 2 6 residence posts for all specialties, or
No, only for dermatology.
For dermatology, okay. So in the country as a whole, how many dermatology spots are there, for example?
A lot, all over. We need a lot of dermatologists.
No, I didn't I didn't explain myself well. I mean, how many residency slots there are? If someone wanted to go for dermatology, how many spots in dermatology residence are there?
2 for years, 1 national and 1 from other country per year. If we train in 3 years, that's what he asked me.
Oh, okay, I got it. There are 6 residents because there are 2 for each year. Okay, but what about other hospitals here in Panama? Are there
is only one is the same.
So
they have only 1 and 1.
In the whole country of Panama, for 4 million people, I think is the population, you have only 2 dermatologists graduating each year.
Exactly.
That really puts into perspective why so many doctors leave Panama to. Oh, do let me know if I'm hindering your view of the mirror here
I did it.
With my gimbal. But that absolutely makes a lot of sense. And back there, I see we can also see a piece of the new city.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that part of the Cinta Costera they built around the Casco Viejo? I'm kind of undecided about it, because on one way they didn't have to bulldoze any of Casco Viejo, but on the other side, on the other hand, they kind of isolated it from the sea. Now there is a highway between the sea and Casco Viejo.
They were thinking even to do it under Casco Viejo, but there was a lot of risk of destroying the ruins. So they prefer to do it that way.
I get it. And it's relatively recent, is it not? Like the Cinta Costeras, I think they have like 20 years at most. It's not something that was here for a long time.
I think less than 20, more like 10, I think.
You've been to Brazil recently, you went to São Paulo. Have you ever been to Rio de Janeiro?
Yes, I know. I have been a couple times, like 3-4 times, yes.
Cinta Costera reminds me a lot of Aterro do Flamengo. I used to say that pretty much all like major cities by the sea, like you can take like Hong Kong, Singapore, New York, Rio de Janeiro, Panama, they always have some large land reclamation project on the shore that becomes a park.
That's true. I think so. That's a good idea too. Going maybe to China, to Hong Kong.
Well, we have a port specialist here among us.
The ocean is calm, very calm. I know this kind of boat is the one that carry mostly cars. It has like 11 floors full of cars.
Because it does not have the containers, it's like a single unit.
Yeah, single unit and closed, air conditioner.
Yes, I took one of those open bus tours yesterday, and something the guide said that I didn't know is that there's like, how could I put it, there are like a single system of locks in the canal. I mean, there are like 5 locks, but the same locks work both ways. Like they go one way in the morning and then another way in the afternoon. Yeah. I used to think there were like locks for going and locks for coming.
No.
That there would be two pairs of locks.
Oh, like, there are 2 lanes. There are 2 lanes on the locks. Yes.
But like,
and sometimes they use both going up, and sometimes both go down. Or sometimes one going up and sometimes one going down. But there are in the old locks, you have a pair of locks, a pair of gates, where you can have a ship coming in and the other going out. In the new locks, the bigger locks, that's only one set.
It's one way too.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, but it makes sense, because otherwise you would just like drain the locks with no boat on it half the time.
Yeah, what they do is they swing the water from one container to the next one, and then they play with the water to minimize the amount of water they use every time a ship comes in and comes out.
Yes, we always hear about, like, even in other countries, in Brazil, around the world, that about the scarcity of water when there's a drought in Lake Gatun. There's little water, so they're going to have to restrict the flow of ships. And I've always thought myself, why not just pump salt water to work the locks? And then yesterday they said, well, because it damages the locks, kind of. That's why they still have the original locks still here.
And also because the most of the drinking water of the city comes from these lakes in there. So you have to keep this salinity out
sure.
from the lakes that feed the locks.
Because even if you open, just from the fact of opening the locks to let the ship in, you would be mixing fresh water with salt water. Yes, yes. You'll get at least some kind of brackish water near the locks. Yes, yeah, it makes sense. It absolutely makes sense. How about you? Have you lived your entire life here in Panama City as well?
No, I did all my high school and my elementary school in the west side of the country, next to Costa Rica, in Chiriquí.
Chiriquí, where
Yeah.
Boquete is.
David, yeah, correct.
Yes.
And then I went to the university in the United States,
Which university?
University of Alabama,
Nice.
and I studied there chemical engineering.
I've noticed for the while I've been here for like, this is my third day now, it's been raining like really downpours every day. It rained like the day I arrived, then yesterday it rained twice, and one of my Uber drivers said that this year is being particularly rainy.
It's like that. 1 year more than the other. Rains a lot. The problem is now a lot of more roads, a lot of more cars, so it's congesting.
Yes,
Panama rains all the way, always, this time of the year.
your dry season begins in January, I think.
In December.
In December.
One of these days it will stop raining all the way to April. 3 months without raining.
So, there is Casco Antiguo, where we left from.
Yes.
Those are the buildings along Avenida Balboa. The one shining there is the Hilton, I think. What's the name of the screw-shaped one there in El Barrio?
Tornillo. Edificio El Tornillo.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then we have Punta Paitia and Punta Pacifica.
Exactly, this way.
And ocean reefs.
And back there, Costa del Este.
And there is an island before Costa del Este.
Oh,
See?
okay, I see.
Right.
This.
It's called Ocean Reef. It's an artificial island. They built it.
But it's completely residential. There are no
Completely.
touristic attractions
Yes,
there.
you cannot get in. Yeah. Private.
Very Dubai-like. People.
Hey, hola. Mira, people with that. Yeah.
Entonces-
Esa esquina es mejor, ¿eh?
Esta is Pucha Garcia. She is like the surfing champion here in Panama. I have just met her. This is one of the advantages of having like a local guide who is not really a guide, of traveling with someone. She just recognized him and called out to him, so I didn't ask it before. Do you speak English?
Un poquito, sí. Feliz aquí, acabo de llegar de Playa Venao, I local in Playa Venao. My name is Sonia Garcia, nickname Pucha. Is 10-time national champion in Panama.
Is surfing really big here in Panama? I saw that one of the things that surprised me about Dr. Reynaldo Arosemena was
Es good
that...
surfer, Reynaldo.
Yes, exactly.
Sí, Reynaldo. Ven.
Una hora hablando.
Are we not going to show any clips of you surfing?
I have some.
I've tried surfing sometimes in the past, but I'm terrible as a surfer. I do have a surfboard, but that's the furthest I go. I went on his Instagram page expecting something like, don't know, dermatology content, and there were pictures of him
It's the best
surfing there.
dermatologist in Panama. For sure.
Yes, thank you. Para lo que me toca, para lo que me toca.
Do you apply sunscreen before surfing?
Do you? I do. He does. Tú también te pones protector solar.
Mucho, siempre. Sí, siempre. Siempre. Es muy importante. Tienes que ir a Venado.
Yeah, it is. Más lejos.
Más
lejos.
Ah,
So-
viste. Buen español.
I said that-
Bienvenido a Panamá.
Gracias. Gracias por se juntar to join us on this interview. That's a large one. You can down from looking, it's a Polk's Panamax.
Huge, enorme. Y ya va para adelante.
Are there, I'm not sure whether any of you will know how to answer this. Are there ships nowadays too large for the current locks?
Yeah.
Sí, petróleo.
Larger than the new locks?
VLCCs.
And they have to take the route around like South America or, no, Straits, isn't it bad to go through South America?
It's too long. I think it's like 14 more days.
Yes, if I'm not mistaken, the Panama Canal here was built like 20 years, not much later from the Suez Canal, was it not?
Something close to the Suez Canal built.
Yes, I mean, it was not like it was built 100 years later.
No,
It was kind of like they did it in Suez and then they tried to do it here.
Uh-huh.
But in Suez they just cut it through.
Correct.
And here they had to make the locks.
Direct.
So I
A
think
lot of dredging.
Suez does not have like restrictions on size.
Yeah, they have the Suezmax.
They do.
Yeah.
Well, I did not know
I think
that.
Suezmax are close to the Aframax that we are going into the canal now.
It's actually really interesting that we have someone from the port here who works with shipping and can answer these questions. Julio, that's right, Julio. The impression that despite, I always fight a battle with the gimbal. The gimbal is really important, this device here, because it stabilizes. It prevents it from getting out of hand. But it's always locking onto something other than me, and I'm always come back here. It's always like this. But like I said, on my flight, for example, most people were just connecting. But I get the impression from looking, for example, the dates the buildings were built on, that the city has been growing a lot in the last years. Is that the same feeling you get? How do you see it
Yeah,
from being here?
Growing up of the city has been in the last maybe 10-15 years when all these buildings start coming up, and the same as, I don't know if you have been to Costa del Este yet. Costa del Este is
It's
full
the
of
one
buildings.
back there, the one we can see
The one
there.
before,
Yes.
It's full of a lot of sky high buildings.
I have some familiarity with buildings, so I do check sometimes which are the highest and which are not. I've seen that Panama does not yet have any super tall, a building taller than 300 meters.
No, I don't think so.
I saw that there were lots of proposals before the financial crisis in 2008 to build a lot of buildings like 300, 320 meters, but they all got stalled. They all stopped.
I think they started one of those projects, but all of a sudden I think they ran out of money and they stopped at certain height and they didn't go all the way. But they had a plan to build the highest building in the area or something like that, because we are not a seismic area here, so
Sure.
it's easier to build high buildings on site.
And is there any current planning for anything? Do you know of anything?
I don't really know, because the construction in the past 5 years has been very slow. So now with this government, I think it's picking up a bit, but not yet.
Why do you think the city started to grow so much, like 10 to 15 years from now? Why now specifically? For example, the canal has always been there.
Oh, I think if the governments support the how you call the progress of the cities, I think a lot of things will change in the area, and we will probably explode a lot more the tourism, because right now we do not really explode what we have to offer to the tourists. So it's mostly coincidental, and the word gets passed by other people and things like that, but we really do not explode like other countries do, like Costa Rica or Colombia. And also the way we talk is a lot different than they do in Costa Rica and Colombia, because they are like, you feel like more servants. They are like more like a service country than we do. We want to offer you what we have, but we really don't care if you don't want to stay or not. But now that's changing the needle towards the other way, because they see that it's more important to have more tourists from the outside bringing in money and better things for the country.
No, but that's really interesting. Like I said, at the airport, everyone goes to connections, and it's weird because that's not the case in Costa Rica, for example, which really close by. It's pretty much the same idea, and it's not a connecting. It's not a connecting country, so it's weird that more people don't come here.
Yeah.
I did not film that part. They have really high tides here. You can see a lot of the exposed seabed here, a lot of rocks, of earth, both on that side and even a bit on this side. You can see parts of it. How many feet of tides did you say?
18.
Quite like the decoration. This city reminds me a lot of an in-between Miami and Rio de Janeiro. If you could bring some kind of middle ground there. But this sort of Christmas decoration is the thing we would expect from a highly touristic city, because we are talking a bit ago that Panama isn't that touristic, that a lot of people, for example, come here only to connect to Costa Rica. But this sort of like very elaborate Christmas decoration is the sort of thing we would expect, for example, like in an European capital or something like that.
That's true. Well, we're trying to market Panama as a place to visit. We need more tourism.
Well, perhaps I'm doing my part.
Yes,
even
sure.
Even though
you're doing it.
Even though my channel is not that large, it grows. Perhaps someday, and the videos will be there. So this, there's a ship there. Is that a post-Panamax? It can't be a post-Panamax because it's coming off the channel. But is that a new Panamax as well?
Yeah, that's a post-Panamax.
Oh, because it's a post-old Panamax. It's too large for the old locks. Is that it?
Yeah. That's what it means. Exactly.
And how is a ship that's too large for the new locks called? Post-new Panamax? So this is the Bridge of the Americas. It was built, I think, like 110 years ago, something like that. Is that it?
No, 1962.
And it was the first crossing over the canal.
Yes.
Because after all, before the canal was built, there was no need for a bridge.
Exactly.
kind of self-intuitive. Only after the building of the canal. But like this branch of the sea already existed, or this is all dug up?
Dug up completely.
It's
Used to be a river.
Oh, okay, because it's
But they dug the river and turned down the mountains.
it's pretty wide here. This is Mirador de las Americas. Why all the Chinese references? Why specifically this place is associated with China?
It's a good question. I have to read that. I don't know. What was it? I don't know.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Can you see your petrochemical terminal from here?
No, because
No.
it's on the Atlantic side.
Oh, you work like in Cologne. But you live here. And you go there every day?
Everything.
But isn't it like an hour and a half, 2 hours?
45 minutes to 50
Okay,
minutes.
okay, it's fine. I've met people who travel like 2 hours every day in the same city, so okay, it's fine. I thought it was farther. And this is the new bridge they are building.
Yeah, that was it.
Why now, after 100 years? The old one has been there 100 years. Why are they building one right now?
Oh, because the traffic is so heavy now that this one will not withstand the amount of traffic going in and out of the city any time of the year. We have another on that side,
Yes, I know about that.
Centenary Bridge. And that one helped a little bit, but on this road here, there is traffic jam every day.
But these people, where are they going?
To the
Like-
west,
But
it's like a suburb area where people goes to, how you call it, where they have cheaper housing.
oh, okay, but it's like daily traffic.
Yeah.
It's not like it's people traveling or something.
No.
It's just people who
People live
commuting.
on the west
People
commuting.
commuting. Julio just told us something really interesting here, that the Maersk ship there is small enough to go through the locks, but that the larger black one there is actually too large to go even through the new locks.
Yeah.
So it's here just for shipping services.
Mhm.
The containers elsewhere, either to other ship or by train or something,
By train, by truck. or
it's
another
too
ship.
large to go through the current
canal.
locks. Don't they have any plans to make a second expansion and build a third group of locks?
I don't know. Not yet.
Not yet?